is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Thankfully, this happened at night, so our store owners were gone. I think my restaurant owner was out of the building for just a few minutes before this hit.
Now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana. Heavy storms blowing through central Indiana overnight. We'll take a look at some of the damage people are waking up to this morning.
I want to know what they're doing, and are they testing the other residents, which I know they're not doing.
Plus, families are growing concerned about loved ones in long-term care facilities because of COVID-19. Working for You will tell you where you can go for help.
Everybody's looking up to us because they need their toilet paper.
And some people can't stay home even during a crisis.
Their temperature before they go to work, wear a face mask at all times, and practice social distancing.
A look at the new guidelines from the CDC aimed at protecting essential workers who aren't able to be on the clock from home. And it is 6 o'clock here on Thursday, April 9th. We want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. The two colleagues are separated from me this morning. Todd Clausen is now working from home. Raphael is down in Franklin. And Raphael, I know I texted you last night because the storms usually hit my place before they moved to Franklin. And we went into the closet. I know you guys had about the similar type of situation over there in Franklin.
Yeah, the Sanchez family, we went underground like those who could. We hit the basement. The storms were quite powerful. Of course, wow is all I could say as we could hear those howling winds. You can see a picture of our family there in the hallway of the basement, just riding it out. I drove around Franklin this morning just to check things out. There was some damage to a pub sign here on Jefferson Street. As you can see the damage there, but it was all cleared up though by the time I drove around 4 this morning. I did see some traffic lights out along US 31 southbound between the post office and the Chrysler Fletcher dealership. So just keep that in mind. Of course, all the damage this is downtown Franklin. We'll see what other parts of the state are doing this morning when the sun rises. Now let's check in with our Todd Clausen, who also joins us from his home as we continue to do some social distancing here at RTV6. Todd, we're looking at a much quieter day here on the home front. Fill us in.
Yeah, that is the good news, and I'm broadcasting from my basement. And like you, Raphael, this is where I was yesterday when those storms were coming through, kind of tracking them as they made their way through central Indiana. And that's where you should be when we have tornado warnings and also the potential, at least for tornadoes. Not everybody saw the tornado warnings. We're still left with the wind. It's going to be a windy day for us throughout the day today, as we'll see these wind gusts get up to about 40 miles per hour at times. And then as we go throughout the course of the day, there's just not going to be a whole lot of warming that takes place. 40 to 50 degrees right now. Skies are partly cloudy as we get into the afternoon hours. A few of those snow showers you see in Minneapolis will swing through. Our temperatures will be above freezing, so there'll be rain showers for us. But nonetheless, it is just going to be a chilly day with temperatures that will be sitting only right around 50 degrees later on this afternoon. You factor in that wind, and it's going to make it feel like it's even a little bit cooler. So, Lauren, you definitely need to have that jacket handy if you're going to be out and about for the day today.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. And let's take a look at your roads right now. No crashes to report around the metro area, and that is good news. This is I-65 and I-70 at the South Split. Traffic here is moving along up to speed this morning, so that is great news. As Raphael said, there may be some traffic lights out for your commute, so treat any of those intersections as a four-way stop. And if you're heading here downtown in the North Split area, just keep in mind we do have that construction right off the ramp getting onto Meridian in Pennsylvania. You'll have to reroute around that just a little bit this morning. Now to the very latest, the toll of the COVID-19 outbreak and what it's having on Hoosier lives here. Nearly 6,000 people, we can tell you, have tested positive for the virus. More than 30,000 have been tested. 203 people have died. And this morning, we're learning that one patient who died was an employee at the VA Medical Center here in Indianapolis. The Department of Veterans Affairs says 57 employees at the Rotobush VA Medical Center have tested positive for the coronavirus. We're told all of the affected employees are in isolation. Nationally, more than 1,100 VA employees have tested positive for COVID-19. The state revealed yesterday at least 31 people have died at Indiana nursing homes and long-term care facilities from COVID-19, including deaths at facilities in Madison and Johnson counties. Those deaths account for 15% of all the COVID-19 deaths in our state. Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with how families are feeling and where those families can go for help. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. We spoke to Gloria Benefield, and she says her 91-year-old mother, Violet, has lived at Greenwood Meadows since 2015. She says some residents at the facility have tested positive for COVID-19 and are currently in isolation. Now, Gloria tells us she is worried about her mom and says she is stunned by the lack of information provided by Greenwood Meadows about the situation. We reached out to American Senior Communities, that's who operates Greenwood Meadows, and they did not respond to our question about COVID-19 at the facility. The health and wellness of our residents and employees remains the top priority. We are in close contact with local and state health authorities and following the guidance along with the national CDC recommendations and mandates. ASC says they are screening every employee and vendor who comes into the building, and they have a strict no visitor policy except for end-of-life situations. So if you are someone who needs help getting information about a facility, you should contact a state or local long-term care ombudsman. They act as a mediator between residents, their families, and the facilities.
It's best to be transparent. Certainly right now with the pandemic, people want to know what's going on, and it's best to be open and communicate with your residents and your family members and your residents' representatives. That's the best way to get the information out there.
The state health commissioner announced they are requiring long-term care facility directors to report COVID-19 cases to local and state health departments within 24 hours, and that does include residents and people who work at the facility. So for more information on how to get in contact with an ombudsman, head over to this story on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, you may be wondering if it's a good time to do that. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke with the local realtor about the impact coronavirus is having on the Indianapolis housing market. Alyssa.
Local realtors are paying close attention to the coronavirus outbreak and say when it comes to impacting the housing market, it all depends on timing and just how long this pandemic is going to last.
This time of year, you know, a nice day like we had out yesterday, if that was a Saturday, Sunday, and we had an open house, you know, you'd have some neighbors through, you'd have some people who were on a walk, you'd have some people who were just starting their home purchase process and wanted to get a look at some homes in areas that they're interested in. You're not getting that cross-section of buyer.
Jason Krause is a real estate agent with RE/MAX. He says there are fewer people listing and buying homes right now. Those that are have very specific needs.
There's absolutely still people in the market who are looking to buy or sell. Those buyers and sellers who don't have a tight timeline to do either one of those things. I see that they're a little bit more on the sidelines.
And buyers are opting to view homes that are already vacant for safety reasons. Agents turning on all the lights and keeping doors open to limit contact.
Wearing gloves, masks often, and allowing people to still have the experience of physically being in a home to see it if that's a need that they have.
The ability to do 3D virtual tours or view pictures online is more popular now than ever, with some buyers purchasing property before setting foot inside. Cross says as of now, he feels the market will pick back up, but if this lasts much longer, then they may have a problem. One thing they have lost is the ability to sell homes for above market value. Before the coronavirus outbreak, if a home was listed for $250,000, they could maybe sell it for $260,000 or $270,000. But Krause tells me right now, most of that negotiation tactic is off the table. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you so much. Our team coverage now continues this morning. The governor's office giving us an update on making sure that truck drivers remain on the road, delivering those essential items to grocery stores and hospitals. Here's the latest on this effort. Earlier this week, we told you that BMV's plan to reopen in an effort to keep and increase the amount of commercial vehicle drivers on the roads. During the governor's coronavirus briefing on Wednesday, he said that dozens of drivers have already taken advantage of the new effort, and hundreds more are lining up to do the same.
The Bureau of Motor Vehicles this week started by appointment only in-person transactions for those needing CDL or restricted agriculture CDLs on Monday. They've been processing those. There's 34 that have been completed already with over 200 more appointments that are set for this week. They're doing what they can to make sure that the drivers can stay on the road and keep our shelves stocked.
We'll hear again from the governor later this afternoon. And this morning, the Indiana Department of Transportation making sure that those truck drivers have access to food. INDOT is now allowing food trucks to operate at rest stops in our state. The change comes as a lot of truck drivers just reported limited availability to food and beverages. Food trucks will be allowed to serve between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. as long as they have a permit to operate in Indiana. Those permits are valid until canceled by INDOT or until the federal emergency status is lifted. We have complete information that you need to apply on how to apply for a food truck permit and a list of locations right now on the RTV6 app. Health officials are now issuing some new recommendations for all essential workers who may be exposed to COVID-19 on the job. The CDC is now saying that they may need to wear personal protective equipment, PPEs. John Lawrence has more.
Some people can't work from home even during a crisis.
Everybody's looking up to us because they need their toilet paper.
Truck drivers are among the essential employees whose responsibilities haven't changed much, if at all, during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I just came from up in Oregon, and there's like a lot of banners, saying thank you to the truckers, to know that, we're responsible for keeping the country going. It feels kind of good.
To get asymptomatic workers back on the job, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has new guidelines for all critical workers exposed to the virus.
Take their temperature before they go to work, wear a face mask at all times, and practice social distancing. We want them not to share objects that would be touching their face, and we would like them not to congregate in break rooms, lunch rooms, and crowded places.
The CDC is asking employers to assess workers and send them home if they're sick. This comes as the White House is focused on restarting the U.S.
As we continue to wage all-out medical war to defeat the virus, we're also fighting an economic war to ensure we can quickly turn to full financial strength. We have to get our country back.
Once that happens, those working from home will be back on the roads with the truckers.
When this is over, to go back to the way it was before, we'll just be in their way.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Federal lawmakers calling for all essential workers like doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks to receive hazard pay. Straight ahead, more on the plan and when those workers could potentially see payments. Time right now is 6:12. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Home experts at theindychannel.com.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for essential workers like doctors, nurses, grocery store clerks, and other essential workers to receive $25,000 in what he's calling hazard pay. Here are the details. The money would be part of the Phase 4 coronavirus relief bill. Under the proposal, those workers would get $13 an hour from now until December. Senator Schumer says he's calling it the Heroes Fund because that's who it is for. If approved, the money would be given to employers, then employers would distribute the payments to workers. Lawmakers will return to work to negotiate that relief bill the week of April the 20th. Later this morning, we'll see how many people filed for unemployment last week. The number is expected to be staggering. Some economists predict the new numbers will break another record and could hit at least 7 million. And that's up from 6.6 million claims the previous week. Officials say the number will likely keep going up, partly because of states clearing out backlogs of applications. However, more companies are also running through their cash cushions and resorting to layoffs and furloughs to save money, something that the recently passed stimulus package was trying to prevent. Economists say about 1/3 of U.S. jobs are vulnerable to coronavirus-related layoffs. It is now time to check your forecast. And Todd, wow, last night the weekend just pounced by winds, but now much more quieter outside.
Yeah, there was a lot of people on social media. Obviously, a lot of people were home, Raphael, like all of us, posting pictures of hail, the lightning. Some people thought they saw tornadoes. None were confirmed, thankfully, but there was a lot of damage across central Indiana. And we're still dealing with the wind right now. You see wind gusts are anywhere up to 36 miles per hour in Indianapolis right now, 29 in the Peru area. And these winds are going to be gusty throughout the entire day. They're really not going to drop off much at all. So you have to kind of prepare prepare yourself for a windy day. And the strength of these winds, more of an inconvenience than ones that will cause damage compared to those severe winds last night. But, you know, there could be some minor tree branches that come down this afternoon. If the garbage cans are empty and they're left outside, they'll certainly topple over. And those temperatures right now are sitting in the 40s, and the wind's making it feel even cooler. Look at Crawfordsville, down to 41 degrees right now. It's 48 in Bloomington. These temperatures will only slowly start to rebound here throughout the course of the day today, getting up to right around 50 once again this afternoon. But when you factor in that wind, it's going to feel more like 40 to 45. So a completely different air mass that's in place compared to what we've seen the past 2 days. And as far as those rain showers there at 6 p.m., there's just going to be a few spotty showers that are going to start to build in as the day goes on. You really don't see a whole lot right now on the satellite radar picture, with the exception of those showers in Michigan, but they'll start to build in later on today. By 5 o'clock, they're in northwest locations. Throughout the 7 and 8 o'clock hour, they progress a little further down to the south. They all should be very light and not out of the question. That's not an error on TrueCast. As you look up towards the Peru and Muncie area, don't be shocked maybe if you see a snowflake or two later on tonight. As far as temperatures overnight tonight, we're going down to near freezing in many locations. Going to be a shock to the system and a lot of the flowers that are in bloom here across the area, unfortunately. And then throughout the day tomorrow and throughout Easter weekend, tomorrow obviously Good Friday, we're looking at 48 degrees with partly cloudy skies, 56 on Saturday. And then for Easter Sunday, some scattered showers are going to build into the forecast. Your 7-day planning forecast is a chilly one, as temperatures will be remaining below normal all the way into the middle of next week, with numerous opportunities here as we go throughout next week to pick up some rain showers. All the rain showers, though, generally should be scattered and also very light. So I wish we had better weather for Easter weekend like we had the past 2 days. Unfortunately, though, Lauren, simply not in the cards.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's get a look at traffic right now. Here's I-465 near Arlington Avenue to our southeast. Traffic looks to be traveling up to speed, picking up, as you can see by all the headlights. We'll continue to keep our eyes on your roads. We'll leave it to the racing community to be among those to react to the need to fight against COVID-19. Our Day First tells us about the Speedway company that's stepping up to help the community.
You've seen what they make, the IndyCar chassis, one of the most recognizable race cars in the world. But it's what Dallara is doing inside this building in Speedway, which is being more recognized than ever.
At what point did you think, hey, we can help some people here?
Basically, whenever you're facing some emergency time, there's something, you're becoming more and more creative.
Inside the Dallara building in Speedway, Stefano DePonte and his crew are cutting material to be used for masks and gowns, material coming from Stitchworks in Indy, with finished products headed to Eskenazi Hospital.
Do you have any idea how long you'll be doing this, or whatever's needed is what's needed here?
I'm trying to help as much as I can, as much as they need it.
These machines usually cut carbon fiber cloth used in race car and aerospace components for a company that has gone all in. Back in its headquarters in Italy, where the coronavirus continues to hit hard, the company's namesake, Giampaolo Dallara, has directed the development of a new mask, which could help victims early on.
We are receiving components to put at least a sample, a prototype here at Dallara USA, and give it to somebody who wants to try to see if it can be of any beneficial.
A group race fans usually see, but rarely hear from.
As a fan of motorsports and someone who's deeply involved in this sport, could you ever have dreamed of doing something like this in such a needy time like this?
Honestly, no. I think I was talking to my boss yesterday, which is very, obviously, Mr. Dallara is very concerned and worried, of course, like all the businessmen with employees' responsibilities.
Bottom line, do you feel like you're making a difference, Stefano?
I want to go back like everyone else in our business to meet people at the racetrack and go back to normal.
Making a difference safely and quickly. It's the Dallara way. Day First, RTV6 Sports.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. Some car insurance companies offering to refund their customers. Coming up, how you can find out if you're eligible. We'll be right back.
us at Wickerworks in Brownsburg.
Welcome back. It is 6:24. It is time to talk about what is trending at 6. So, Raphael, a lot of folks working from home right now, maybe like you. I know you don't have a lot of extra time on your hands, but some people do right now during the quarantine. And so they're hitting up a lot of those streaming services, right? So we do have some good news for you cool cats and kittens who can't get enough of the popular Netflix show Tiger King. This is on my list, but I haven't watched it yet. Actor Rob Lowe and American Horror Story creator Ryan Murphy say they're developing a new version of the story. Lowe made the announcement in this Instagram post. Dressed as the star Joe Exotic. For those who don't know, Tiger King follows the life of a former big cat keeper. He's now serving 22 years in prison for a murder-for-hire plot against his rival, Carol Baskin.
Lauren, you can watch that show while Archie's taking a nap, okay? That's okay when Archie's...
I'm usually napping as well.
Okay, fair enough. Well, if you want to see this show, you have to be awake. Listen, so customers at the Sandbar on TB Island have been stapling dollar bills on the walls and ceilings. As you can see, look at that, for years. But now that the business has dried up, owner Jennifer Knox is having trouble, as you could imagine, just paying her staff. So she recently decided to take down the bills one by one and give that cash to her employees. It took her 3.5 days, and in the end, Knox retrieved more than $3,700 to give to her staff. That's just a great show of generosity.
Very cool. Well, if you're looking to celebrate Easter safely during this COVID-19 pandemic, Andrea Bocelli is live streaming a free concert Sunday. The famed Italian singer will be performing sacred songs like Ave Maria from an empty cathedral in Milan. He'll be accompanied only by the cathedral organist. Bocelli says that regardless of people's faith, he hopes that Sunday's concert will offer healing and hope to millions. The concert will be live streamed live on Bocelli's YouTube channel at 1 p.m. Eastern in the U.S. on Easter Sunday. And I think that'll just be an incredible thing for all of us to listen to and watch if we're stuck at home, maybe missing some family on Easter Sunday. All right, we do need to get a check of our forecast right now as you're heading out the door. Todd, what do folks need to know on this Thursday?
You need to know that it's windy out there still, and that's not really going to change much, Lauren, throughout the course of the entire day. And temperatures really not going to move a whole lot. We're sitting in the mid-40s right now. We'll only get up to about 48 degrees by the time we get to your noon hour. And then high temperatures later on this afternoon. They will top off only in the upper 40s to the north, low 50s in southern locations with partly cloudy skies. But when you factor in that wind, the temperatures you see on your screen right now, you could probably take about 5 to 8 degrees off those, and that's what it's really going to feel like. So you have to have the jacket handy. There's a few spotty showers possible this evening. We'll talk more about that and look ahead to your Easter weekend forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, some car insurance companies are offering to give you some money back due to the coronavirus pandemic. With the stay-at-home orders in place, not as many people are driving, which is saving them millions of dollars. John Matarese explains how you can qualify for a cut so you don't waste your money.
Have you noticed you're not driving much these days? Your car is probably just sitting most of the time. So you may be eligible for a partial refund from your insurance company. An investigation by our Scripps partners at Newsy found that driving is down so much that insurance companies are making millions of dollars from not having to pay out claims. As a result of the Newsy report, Allstate has agreed to pay back $600 million to policyholders this month in what it's calling a shelter-in-place payback. Allstate says the average driver will have their April and May rates cut 15%. American Family Insurance is also planning partial refunds this month, which it says should average about $60 per car owner. Nothing from your insurer yet? Well, call them and ask if they can move you from a standard policy to a pleasure use only policy. That could save you 10% or more during the lockdown. Now you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good morning, Indiana, on this Thursday morning. Here is a look at your 6:30 news feed. Thousands of people still without power following last night's storms. The latest numbers from Duke Energy show more than 67,000 people are without power. More than 15,000 of those customers are in Hamilton County. This morning, IPL is reporting more than 18,000 customers without power. In Johnson and Shelby counties, the Johnson County REMC has about 135 of its customers still in the dark.
Let's go south of Indianapolis to Johnson County. Now, damage here in Franklin. Police tell us that debris was blown from the top of the Jefferson Street pub, hitting the Government East Annex. It appears that the strong winds blew off that awning. Officials say they'll inspect the East Annex this morning to determine if there was any damage to the top of that building. So far, no other significant damage in Franklin was reported.
Check out this video from Mooresville now, where at least 4 buildings in the heart of town were damaged. Mooresville police say that the second floor of one building was blown off. We're told that the building housed a jewelry store and another business. The building next door has some apartments in it as well, and that may have sustained some damage.
And now let's head south of Johnson County. This picture from Bartholomew County. A semi-truck traveling northbound on I-65 near Columbus turned over, as you can see, in last night's storms. State police say the driver was taken to the hospital for injuries. The road has since reopened.
It is 6:30 here. We want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey, and my pals Rafael Sanchez and Todd Clausen both working from home. Rafael, I know you felt those storms last night down in Franklin.
I did, and so when I woke up this morning, yet again, I double-checked everything. The studio was still here in the living room. My trees were still up. The deck was still standing, Todd Clausen, so A-OK, but we know that there's some significant damage in Mooresville, in Morgan County. There's some minor damage here in Franklin. So this morning, just check things out as you head out your door, because obviously you may see some things in your backyard or your lawn that belongs to somebody else.
Yeah, you know, you just got to be careful when you get out, especially here before the sun comes up. There could be some tree branches down and so forth. And yeah, those were some pretty good strong storms that came through yesterday evening. It's quieter this morning in the sense that we don't have the storms around. That's the good news. The bad news is we still do have some windy conditions around, and those winds are going to stick around as well. As far as rain chances today, you notice they spike a little bit this evening as a few spotty showers will be making their way into the area. But this morning, we are dry. That is the good news. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, much cooler than it has been. Temperatures are in the 40s. You see those temperatures are going to continue to fall back down into the 40s as we work our way into the 8 a.m. hour. So it's a little bit cooler by 8 a.m. than it is right now currently across the area. Eventually, highs today will be topping off in the 40s and 50s across the area. That is below normal, a far cry from the high of 79 that we had yesterday. But just be careful again as you go out the door this morning if you do have to. As Rafael mentioned, there could be some miscellaneous garbage cans in your yard that's not yours, and you just got to return them to the owners. And there could be some tree branches down as well across roadways, so just be a little bit careful. And these winds will continue throughout much of the afternoon, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. You may notice the winds if you're heading out the door at this hour, especially if you drive a high-profile vehicle. This is a look at your interstates to the southwest. I-465, a view near Kentucky Avenue, where traffic is picking up, as you can see there on your screen. Everything's traveling up to speed. No crashes to report around the metro area right now to slow you down. Rafael.
Good morning to Carmel, Anderson, and Martinsville as we take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers. Nearly 6,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the coronavirus. Here are the other numbers to keep an eye on, and they're very staggering and somber this morning. More than 2,200 of those cases are here in Marion County, the heart of the state. Statewide, at least 203 deaths have been caused by COVID-19. Now, you can see by this chart the numbers of new cases reported by the state was down on Wednesday compared to the previous days. The health department is hoping that trend will continue when the latest numbers come out later this morning. Now, a word of caution about those and other coronavirus numbers. Health officials say the number of people infected is likely higher because many people with the virus may not be showing the symptoms. There's also a new study underway in Massachusetts that shows the amount of coronavirus particles showing up in sewage samples indicates that more people may be infected than the official counts show. A similar study conducted in the Netherlands showed the virus in some sewage samples even before an official COVID-19 diagnosis was made in some communities. Lauren?
Well, the state revealed yesterday, Raphael, that at least 31 people have died at Indiana nursing homes and long-term care facilities from COVID-19, including deaths at facilities in Madison and Johnson counties. Those deaths account for about 15% of all COVID-19 deaths in our state. And so our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning. Kelsey, a lot of families are feeling like they're kind of in the dark about all of this.
That's right, Lauren. Families we spoke to say they don't know what's going on at these long-term care facilities, and all they're asking is for some transparency. We spoke to Gloria Benefield. Her 91-year-old mother, Violet, has lived at Greenwood Meadows since 2015. She says some residents at the facility have tested positive for COVID-19 and have been put in isolation. Gloria tells us she is worried about her mom and says she is stunned by the lack of information provided by Greenwood Meadows about the situation.
Depressed, distraught, because I'm out here and can do nothing for her, and still I talk to her every day, but she doesn't get to see me because I don't go out there every day, because now they're saying don't go out at all for the next 2 weeks. So it's very, very upsetting.
We did reach out to American Senior Communities. They operate Greenwood Meadows, and they did not respond to our question about COVID-19 at the facility. They said the health and wellness of our residents and employees remains the top priority. We are in close contact with local and state health authorities and following their guidance along with the national and CDC recommendations and mandates. ASC says they are screening every employee and vendor who comes into the building, and they have a strict no visitor policy except for end-of-life situations. So if you are someone who needs help getting information about a facility, you should contact a state or local long-term care ombudsman. An ombudsman acts as an ambassador or a mediator, between residents, their families, and these facilities. For more information on how to connect with one, visit this story on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 6:36. COVID-19 is also an increasing problem at Veterans Affairs medical facilities. An employee at the VA Medical Center here in Indianapolis is among those who has died from the virus. At least 57 other workers have tested positive so far. The VA says all employees who have the virus are in isolation to prevent the spread. Nationwide, more than 1,000 VA workers have tested positive for COVID-19, and a total of 6 have died. But the VA hospital here in Indianapolis has the second highest number of confirmed employee cases in the United States. Last week, the head of the Department of Veterans Affairs told the agency's employees that there were plenty of masks and other medical supplies for all of its 170 medical centers. But BuzzFeed is now reporting that less than 30 minutes after the memo was sent, a large VA hospital in Los Angeles had to start rationing supplies. A memo shows that VA workers there were restricted to 1 surgical mask per day, not the N95 mask that's recommended to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Unions representing VA employees have since written letters to Congress warning of supply shortages. They've also filed a complaint with the Department of Labor.
The COVID-19 pandemic is also impacting the sales of homes, the real estate market. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke to a real estate agent about the long-term outlook on the housing market. Alyssa, good morning.
Local realtors are paying close attention to the coronavirus outbreak and say when it comes to impacting the housing market, it all depends on timing and just how long this pandemic is going to last. Jason Krause is a real estate agent with RE/MAX. He says there are fewer people listing and buying homes right now. Those that are have very specific needs, and buyers are opting to view homes that are already vacant for safety reasons. Agents turning on all the lights and keeping doors open to limit contact. The ability to do 3D virtual tours or view pictures online is more popular now than ever, with some buyers purchasing property before setting foot inside. Cross says as of now, he feels the market will pick back up. But if this lasts much longer, then they may have a problem.
The longer that people are out of work, the less likely they're going to be in making a large purchase, right? Or a large move like a sale. It might be more comfortable to stay with what you know your mortgage payment is and stay put for a little while. So I can see the longer that this goes on, we may have sellers who, had the luxury of moving, decide that out of necessity, they're going to stay a little bit longer.
One thing they have lost is the ability to sell homes for above market value. Before the coronavirus outbreak, if a home was listed for $250,000, they could maybe sell it for $260,000 or $270,000. But Kraus tells me right now, most of that negotiation tactic is off the table. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Businesses all across Indiana have been looking for financial help from the feds. Up next, how that help could now be on its way. That's according to the governor. Time right now is 6:39. Stick around. We'll be right back.
WeatherTech.com and stay safe.
It is 6:42. RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is staying on top of how the coronavirus outbreak is impacting Indiana's workforce. Governor Holcomb says more help for Indiana businesses may be on the way. The governor says he's in constant contact with the federal government to provide more financial help for Hoosiers. He says on a phone call this week, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin indicated more assistance could be on the way to help small businesses continue to pay their staff or rehire employees that have been furloughed during the pandemic. And that funding could come as soon as April 24th.
This is very important for Indiana, for our small businesses to continue to employ their workers right now. So when we do come out of this, their team, their experienced team is already in place on the ground, not waiting.
The governor plans to reveal more information on Friday during the state's coronavirus press conference. We, of course, will bring you that information both on air and online. Raphael?
So, Lauren, this morning we want to share a Hiring Hoosiers success story, and this is really a good one. 2 weeks ago, RTV6 told you about Senior One Care in Carmel looking for caregivers. Our own Nicole Griffin told us this amazing story, and here are the results this morning. They specifically wanted to connect countless of workers in the service industry who abruptly lost their jobs. And since our story aired, the company has hired 15 new employees. We talked to one lady who learned about the Senior One Care positions right here on RTV6. She applied and she got hired.
When I seen her interview, it just kind of touched on me because me and my family, we're people that are caring and like to do for others. It was just something that's always been instilled in me.
Tanisha, the best to you and your family. Be safe. Senior One Care is still looking to hire. They're offering a free training course for personal care attendants that takes just 2 days to complete. We have all the details on this opportunity on the RTV6 News app. And you can connect with companies that are looking to hire right now, at this moment, and also find unemployment resources by logging on to our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
Well, teachers and other school staff, they can't be with their students right now. But coming up, we'll show you how one local school employee was still able to share a special moment with her kids from a distance. Todd.
And Lauren, it's going to be a windy day across the area. The severe weather has moved off to the east, but these winds will persist pretty consistently between 30 and 40 miles per hour throughout the entire day today. So prepare yourself for that. And cooler temperatures that have settled in as well. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. As you know, classrooms are closed, but teachers are still teaching, finding innovative ways to connect with their students even though they are distance apart. An educator in Warren Township found a special song with a special message to send her students.
It's been a while since we've been together, dear. I know there's so much going on. I wish that we were near, and though we don't have all the answers and we aren't standing face to face, it doesn't change, my love's the same. Our story's not erased because distance.
Can someone please call American Idol? Because that teacher can sing. That's Miss Celia Kauth singing and strumming the guitar. She's a counselor at Hawthorne Elementary School. She wrote and sang the tune called Distance in This Instance and sent it out to share with her students. Ms. Kauth says she wrote the song because she wanted all her students to know that they are truly treasured. Teachers, another part of our hometown heroes who continue to keep us all together during this time. And Lauren, I want to sing praises to Todd Clausen this morning, if I may, who really gave us a heads up yesterday to be prepared for last night. And then, of course, our chief meteorologist, Kevin Gregory, helped us ride through the storm. But you guys really, your calm voice, your assurance, I just want to say A+ from my living room to your house. Todd Clausen.
And Todd, we know that things are calming down today, which is good news.
Yeah, and thank you, Raphael, for saying that. Yesterday was one of those days where it was so nice, right? 79 degrees, sunny, everybody was out. But then you had to prepare for that cold front to come through, and it changed really, really quick. And thankfully, a lot of people were home and took the precautions and stayed inside as those storms rolled through. This morning, we're left with some gusty winds still. The storms are gone. That is the good news. But look at these wind gusts. We're up into the 30s still, and this is where they're going to stay for a good chunk of the day today. They're not really going to drop much at all as we go forward throughout the course of the afternoon and evening hours. So prepare yourself for winds to remain up there throughout the day. Temperatures, though, they continue to fall into the 40s anywhere you go this morning, all across central Indiana and throughout the day today. These temperatures are really not going to warm a whole lot. We've already hit our high for the day today. That was shortly after midnight. We'll get back up to right around 50 degrees later on this afternoon for your high temperature. You factor in those winds, you're going to want to have the jacket handy if you're heading out for that walk or maybe bike ride to get a little bit of exercise throughout the day. The storms have raced off towards Washington, D.C. To our west, you see there's not a whole lot going on, but there will be a few spotty showers that are going to start to build in later on this evening. Most of the day is dry, but once we get to that 4 or 5 o'clock hour on TrueCast, you see some spotty showers building into northern locations. As I advance it, you'll notice those showers drop down to the south. They'll all be very, very light. That's the good news. And at this point, you're probably having dinner with your family. So if you plan on that little walk after dinner, you may have to adjust just a little bit. But the bulk of the day should be decent here with partly cloudy skies. And then overnight tonight, it gets chilly as the skies start to clear. Look at these low temperatures come tomorrow morning, all the way down to right around freezing. Going to be a shock to the system, a shock to all those spring flowers that are in bloom across the area. And then throughout the day tomorrow, we don't warm a whole lot, only back up into the mid-40s for your afternoon high. It is a dry day, though, with plenty of sunshine in the forecast. And then for the weekend, Saturday's dry, a little warmer at 56 degrees. Easter Sunday, we're dealing with some scattered showers and a high temperature around 60 degrees. And then it's cooler as we get into next week again on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. We're talking about highs that only be in the 40s and low 50s. And with that will come the chance of some rain showers. And I wouldn't be surprised by the time we get to the day on Wednesday that maybe even a few snowflakes could mix in, but we are not expecting any accumulation. So just grab the jacket today if you're going to be out and about. It's a cool and breezy day.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now in the downtown area. I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. Traffic here is picking up and traveling up to speed. If you're hopping off the interstate, though, near Meridian, Pennsylvania streets, near this area, keep in mind we do have construction there. It is blocking that road, so you will need to go a little bit south to get around to Meridian Street this morning. Up next, it is Throwback Thursday. Baseball fans are sad there's no opening day, so we're going to go back in time 4 decades to be exact to a very special opening day for one fan of the Indy Indians. We'll be right back.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6.
Well, it is Throwback Thursday time once again. Raphael, today was supposed to be opening day for the Indianapolis Indians. Yeah, unfortunately not the case. The tradition is put on hold because of the pandemic. Raphael, that's okay because it is Thursday, so we can throw it back to a day when an Indians fan celebrated his very own tradition.
So I want to talk about Clem Keller as he made history at the Indians home opener. Lauren, the year was 1980. Come back with me. Come on. You can do it. Mr. Keller, who was 83 at the time, was attending his 50th opening day at the Indians' former home, as you know, Busch Stadium on the city's west side. One of our favorites, TV legend, our TV legend, Derek Thomas, was also there. Mr. Keller explained to him why he loved baseball so much.
I think it's the best spectator sport that there is because I can be a part of the game. I can get me a scorecard for a quarter for 35 cents it is this year, and I sit here and I can watch the game, but if ball goes through the infield, I can make up my mind whether it's an error or a hit before they ever announce it on the scorecard out there on the scoreboard.
A former athlete himself, more specifically a catcher in baseball, Clem has watched his skills diminish over the years. His vision is not as keen, his hearing faulty, and arthritis plagues him. But the youngsters on the field rejuvenate him. In his words, they recharge his batteries. And as a famous would-be television sportscaster would say, baseball has been very, very good to him. Dara Thomas for the news, Channel 6.
As it turns out, this game may have been Mr. Keller's final home game. A search of obituary records show that Mr. Keller died on January the 21st of 1981, a man who loved the national pastime, Lauren.
All right, a great story there. I think we could all use a little baseball, and we're looking forward to that starting back up, hopefully, when this is all over.
Yes.
And Todd, it is cooling down, though. So yesterday would have felt like a really good day to go see a baseball game.
Yeah, yesterday would have been a great baseball day. Today, you'd be bundling up at Victory Field, I'll tell you that. Highs today only right around 50 degrees, but with the gusty winds, it'll feel cooler than that.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. And thanks for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
Enjoy the sunrise. We'll see you tomorrow. Good Friday.